Hello, my name is Greg Hungerford, and I'm so glad you're here to talk about the origins and manifestation of SEB skill deficits. When we begin this conversation, we can consider that we are asking students specific demands, specific expectations in the learning environment. And we know each classroom setting and our school setting can be different about what we expect them to know and be able to do. And the stimuli that's also occurring in the moment, that loud lunchroom and or passing in the hallway that may be too much for students in the moment. And then we consider those skill deficits that may be readily in place. A student's inability to be self aware in the moment on how they're thinking and feeling. And those deficits directly correspond to those demands being placed. And then, bam, there we go. Here comes the challenging behavior because what you're asking me to do, I don't know how to do it. I don't have the skills in the moment to do this. And so we think about what are skill deficits. And we can consider from Castle the SEB skills they promote: self awareness, self management, responsible decision making, relationship skills, social awareness, and also communication skills. And when you read through those or hear me talking to you, it helps us understand how much has to go into a student making the right decision, being self aware, knowing how to navigate others while doing so, and the environment. Students are going to communicate the best they can, right? Behavior is a communication. A student who is acting out may lack the words or maybe too dysregulated in the moment to use their prefrontal cortex in order to explain, I need this now. This is how I feel. And we really want to believe, and we need to believe that students would do better if they could. And so as we think about the idea of SEB skill deficits, we think about some of the why. And so some students just have lacked the opportunity to learn appropriate behaviors due to attendance, discipline, dysregulation, which causes missed instruction. And if this done year after year, that catches up to them. And they haven't had a chance to acquire the skill, let alone generalize it to a new setting. And some students may just be lacking models of what appropriate behavior looks like and sounds like. We also can think about those biological and genetic concerns that may be impacting brain development, lead exposure, for example, or perhaps the parent wasn't taking care of themselves, was encountering trauma and stress, and those chemicals then go into the baby in utero, and that can impact brain development as well. And then we think about trauma and the impact it has had across this country and all of our schools. One event or many event, that's going to impact the development of the prefrontal cortex, is what we use to problem solve, do math, follow directions. And instead, what's happening is the parts of the brain that are charged for fight, flight, freeze, making sure they're safe, scanning the environments, are overactivated in the moment. And it's hijacking the front part of the brain. So students are disassociating, they're not here now. They're hypervigilant. They're lacking those relationship skills with adults and students, and we can see how that can impact the learning environment. And so we look at these skill deficits as reasons for why students are doing what they're doing. And so will versus skill, we really want you to think of these as skill deficits. The idea that the student's not motivated, the student doesn't want to. Don't we all want to be successful? And maybe over the years, we've learned over and over again that we're not going to be listened to and that the skills don't matter one way or the other. And so if you're working with a student that has had difficulty in school over time, let's remember that this really is a skill deficit, and that with your time and attention and patience, we can work on skills and help them be successful in the moment. And so we think about those goal-oriented behaviors and the SEB skills, they correspond. In order to ask for help, as you can see in blue here, you need to have those communication and social awareness skills. And you can see the other examples that we put here on the screen. And so as we think about those unsolved problems, what students are having difficulty doing, those expectations we're asking them to do, we can begin breaking those down into skills and sub-skills and start realizing that their challenging behaviors are simply their ways for communicating with us because they're lacking the skills. And as paraeducators, we know that you sometimes are asked to be there and be present with them and be models and guide them along with regards to the skills that we want them to know and be able to do. Thank you so much.